What were you going to say?
I was saying the volume of cone is 1/3 of the volume of a cylinder.
Yeah, it's 1/3 of it, right?
Because in the volume of cylinder, it says area of the base times height, and then the cone is 1/3 times the area of the base times height.
Yep.
So, and it says it has the same.
So since that is the same, and this is the same, then it must just be that divided by 3. Right? A lot of kids do this one wrong. They tell me there's not enough information because they can't do the formula. Right? Because did you ever get either the height or the radius? No. So a lot of kids put D. I've given this question many, many times in different forms, with a pyramid or with the other way round, with here's your cone, this is what its volume is, tell me what the cylinder is, right? Because they get fooled by it. So there's a volume question, because Caitlin wanted a volume question. There's one. You guys have seen something very similar to that in your notes. How do you find the empty space inside something? You subtract. Subtract what from what? Right? So you take the volume of 1. What volume are we starting with? Which is the bigger volume? The cylinder. And I subtract what? Yeah, 2 volume of a sphere, right? So go. Now, what is the H of the cylinder? 16. Why? You can't answer. You're the only person that said 16, so you're the only person that knows the answer. Why is this H 16? Where do you see 16? How long is this? 4. Why is it 4, Caitlin? Because the radius is 4. It's a sphere, right? So how long is this? 4. So how long is the whole thing? 8. How many of them are there? 2. So there's 8 and 8. So what's the height? 16. That's what's going to get you there. Because some of you are going to write 8, weren't you? Because you saw this 4. You're like, oh, there's 2 of them, it's 8. Yeah, buddy. And guess what one of those answers is? If you do this math with your height of 8, you're going to get one of them. And then, what are you going to circle? The wrong answer, because your calculator gave you an answer, didn't it? Just gave you the wrong one because you put in the wrong numbers. Do you understand what I'm saying? And a great many of you will believe your calculator first. That's why I write out work. Everyone said, do I have to show work? I don't care, as long as you know what you're punching into your calculator. Now, how many of you, other than Antonio, we're going to put 6 or something other than 16 there? Be honest, it's practice. That wouldn't have fooled any of you? Good, that means you had a hell of a good math teacher. Now, of course, that's kind of hard to punch into your calculator, right? How many of you feel you could get that into your calculator in one go? I know you can. Does anybody else feel you could get that into your calculator in one go? Start trying. I'll tell you what the right answer is. Because I can get it into my calculator in one go. So, I know, right? It's a hassle.
How do you do like when it's instead of how you do like a separate?
Yep. So who has an answer for me? What is it? I know you have the answer. What is it? 268. It is B. How many of you were able to get it in one go? Oh, I'm sorry, Sammy. If you couldn't get it in one go, what must you do? Put it in separately, right? Will you get close enough? Of course you will. As a matter of fact, you could almost not even use your calculator, couldn't you? Because isn't this 16? And isn't 16 times 16 256 pi? Isn't it? And isn't 4 to the third 64? And 8 times 64 is 502, because 8 times 60 is 480, right? And 502 divided by 3 is, what's 50 divided by 3? If you got $50 and want to split 3 ways, it's about 17, right? Right? So this is about minus 170 pi. 250, call it 260 minus 170 equals 90 pi, right? What's pi about? 90 times 3 is what? 270. Picking up what I'm putting down? Even if you couldn't do this on your calculator at all, could you get close enough? Can't you? Because you can throw pi out, because it's in both sides, right? You just got to remember to put it back in at the end. Everybody cool? Are we done with measurement? Yeah? Measurement? Everyone's feeling semi-good about measurement? The other thing to remember is, you've seen me scrolling through this, right? What units are more heavily featured? Graphing. Why do you think that is? Because further math relies heavily on graphing, right? What about trig? Should we do some trig? One question of trig. Well, look at that. There was a question of trig right the very next one. I'm going to be mean and cover the choices. No, I can't do it. I love you guys too much. That's my problem. You're all so important to me.
Dude, your last class is crazy.
I know, right? And they're the honors class.
We barely even talk in this class, and they're just like going through.
I know, they're animals. I know, trust me. I spend every day with them. Which would be fine if they were all getting 100% and I was boring them. I would get that. But they're... Whew! So where is angle A? Right here, right? So what am I going to use to find angle A? I've got a hypotenuse, don't I? Okay, so I know it's got to be, but don't I also have an opposite? And don't I also have an adjacent in this big red triangle? Because isn't that angle in this little one and the big one? So I could use all three, couldn't I? So now I got to check which one's right. So I've got A. What's cos A? What's cos? Look on your data booklet if you still need to. Adjacent over hypotenuse. So what's adjacent to A? Which is 9 centimeters. So cos A is 9 over 15. So no, the adjacent is the one that is beside you that isn't the hypotenuse. So 9 over 15. What's sine A? 12 over 15. And what's tan A? 12 over 9. Do you see any one of them there? D. There's your answer. Now, here's the next question. Is it tan A that finds me an angle? No, what do I need to do to find an angle? It's got to be shift tan, right? But I got to start with tan. Everybody get it? What about this? No picture. So what do? Every trig triangle needs a picture. Every trig question needs a triangle. Does it matter what the triangle looks like? No. But now we need to put in our information. Angle C is 90. Where's the 90 here? Right here. So that means that's C, yes? AB equals 8 and BAC equals 24, right? So does it matter if that's BA or if that's BA? Does that even matter? No. If I make this BA, then BC is 8, correct? And angle BAC, where is BAC? The top or the left? BAC. Pardon? Where A is. The middle letter is the vertex. BAC. So there's my theta, correct? So do I have a theta? 24. Theta equals 24. What do I have? I have an opposite of 8. What do I need? AB, which is what? Hypotenuse. That's my x, correct? What uses O and H? Sine, right? Sine of 24 equals O, 8 over x. Letters on the bottom, so it's divide, right? 8 divided by sine 24. Cool? Now, what if you didn't draw it that way? What if you drew it this way? A, B. Now where's the angle? BC is 8. Here's my theta, right? I still need opposite over hypotenuse, don't I? So does it matter how you draw it? So don't stress. How many of you would have been stressed by seeing this question? Hopefully none of you, because I spend a whole lot of time telling you every trig question needs a what? And they all function the same way, don't they? No matter how you draw it. Now, what if you drew it this way? With a really short side down here. And you said this was 8. Right? So this would have been A up here, right? Theta equals A over H, yeah? The hypotenuse is going to be longer than 8, isn't it? So then, I know what my answer, if I've done my answer correctly. What if you got a number less than 8? Would you circle it? Some of you would, because your calculator said so. You wouldn't take a half a second to say, hey, wait a minute. AB is the hypotenuse. It has to be longer. That's another thing you can do. So let's say you're screwed. I don't know how to do this. Well, right away, you know it can't be A, because A is shorter than 8. Another mistake you guys make is when you draw a triangle, you think that this side has to be longer than this side, because that's the way you drew it. Is it? Does it? No. Any more trig, or are we good with trig? There's a good trig question. Earth and moon, right there. So where does that go? Right here, right? 384, 400. Now, I want the distance between the Earth and the Sun. So I need this side, yes? What uses opposite and adjacent? Tan. Yeah? Yeah. We can do exponents. I love exponents. Oh, that's a deadly question. The angle of elevation of the slant height of that pyramid. And it's drawn to scale. You'd have to measure it. Find this distance by doing Pythagoras with these two scaled distances. Find that distance. That gives you your slant height. Then you would have to find, once you had your slant height, you would have to find your height by taking this distance and your slant height to get your height. Then you would have to use two of those to find theta. Holy crap! I love that we stopped there for a minute, because how many marks is that question worth? 1. How much work did it take to do? A lot. If you're stuck on it, do you waste time? No. Why? It's worth 1 mark. So you would not even begin to worry about it, would you? Do you understand what I'm saying? That's like the hardest question I've ever seen. That's really hard. Remind me not to put that on your final. But you know whose final I am going to put it on? I'm not making them write a final. I'm making them write their own final. They have to write a test. Well, it was actually due Friday, but they're such crybabies. It's unbelievable. I love how they all think they're going to go into IB. IB is not North America. Everywhere else in the world. Hey, Antonio, in your German school, when your teacher says this is due Friday, when's it due? Friday. When again? Friday. Otherwise what? Oh, you'd get nothing. Right. If Maggie were here, I'd ask her too. My homestay student's always asking me that. Sir, he calls me sir. Sir. Yes, Sean? Why is it that nobody hands anything in Canada? Well, Sean, there's a long and involved reason for that. I do my work, I get the work in, and other people do not hand it in, and then they hand it in late and they get credit. I know, Sean. That would not happen in China. I know, Sean. Well, why do they do it? I don't know, Sean. Because apparently, later in life, when you have like a deadline, a due date to pay your credit card bill, the credit card company just says, you can just pay that late. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Somebody just said they wanted to do something. Exponents. Exponents. I like saying the word because it works well with an English accent. A bad English accent. Exponents. Radical. Integers. They're numbers. Adding and subtracting. Really, Sammy? Woo-wee. Look at that bad boy. I can make it significantly bigger. What the hell? A variable in the exponent? What are you doing, Myers? You're on crack. No, it's not. What would you do with any exponent outside a bracket? It goes in here and it multiplies, yes? What is 0 times b? 0 times b is 0. And then what is 5 to the 0? 1. So the top is 1. Now look down here. What is that? What is that? Are they the same base? So what would you do with the exponents? Add them. So isn't this 5? Now add the exponents. Wait a minute, I can't add 2b and 4 because they're not like terms. So it's 2b plus 4. No, there it is. It's almost like exponent laws are laws and they can't be broken. Because they're laws. What you got? What are they?
The Brookside dark chocolate, chocolate covered.
What's in the middle? Are they acai berries? No, thank you. Chocolate has no place with fruit. You can't just coat something in chocolate and still say it's good for you. Oh, it's dark. It's not as bad. Yes, I am well aware of how many flavonoids dark chocolate has. Now it's supposed to help you feel better in life. It's still chocolate. It is flavonoids. That's what you're looking for in dark chocolate. Oh, you know what I heard today? Spicy food, yet another study. Capsaicin will increase your, statistically speaking, increase your lifespan. Capsaicin. That is the substance in chili peppers that makes them hot. Well, then I guess those of us that eat spicy things are going to live longer than you, statistically speaking. See, Caitlin, that's a good argument because let's think about this for a second. Let's say you eat no spicy food. Average Canadian life expectancy is about 80 years, right? So you're going to live 80 years, according to averages, yes? Sammy right beside you being Vietnamese, right? A lot of spice in Vietnamese food. Not as much as Thai food, but there's a lot of spice in Vietnamese food. Sammy eats a lot of Vietnamese food. She lives an extra year. She's 80.
There's another pack.
How much awesomeness is there left at 80? Huh? You're 80!
It doesn't matter if you keep yourself fit.
You're 80! Okay, now wait. So Caitlin, wait, I have more, Antonio. Caitlin has just said she hates spice. Is it worth eating spice for 79 years and hating it to get one more year then?
No.
Ah.
It doesn't have anything to do with that they were saying if you eat spice, you get longer.
No, there's no proof of it. It's just a relation. It's a correlation, right? People that eat a lot of spice tend to live longer. There's a lot of other things they may be doing, right? That's the problem with the news. And the problem with people like us who don't understand math. We hear something like that, and what do? Run out and start eating spices, right? A few years ago, there was a study came out that said, you should drink red wine, it's good for your heart. Guess what happened? Everybody started drinking tons more red wine. Well, guess what? Red wine does some bad stuff to you too, right? And the proof is a correlation, right? All people in the world have noses, yes? All pigs have noses.
No.
So what does that prove? All animals, all humans are pigs. We both share noses. That's a correlation, right? I know. That's the point. Did I ever show you guys the charts on the internet that I used to use? In some classes, I teach bits about statistics. And if you go on the internet, you can go to something called spurious correlations, which relates to things that are totally unrelatable. For example, in America, they graphed over the last few years the number of deaths in home swimming pools. Everybody with me? And the graph looks like this. Right? It goes up and down because there's more deaths one year than others, right? If it's hotter, more people are in the pool. You everybody with me? So down here was years. 1999, 2000, so on, right? And they made the curve. Okay? Then on the same graph with a different color line, they had the red line was swimming pool deaths, swim deaths, and they had a blue line of Nicolas Cage movies. And guess what? Any year with no Nicolas Cage movies, so if Nicolas Cage movies went in the tank, he didn't make one, deaths went down. When Nicolas Cage made a movie, deaths happened to go up. Now, according to stupid people, oh my God, if Nicolas Cage makes a movie, people are going to die. Now, I know people are going to die if Nicolas Cage makes a movie because they're so bad you drive your car into a truck, right? He used to be so awesome. Nicolas Cage was so awesome. And then he thought he was an action hero with the movie The Rock for some reason. I don't know what happened, but he decided he was a dramatic actor, not a comic. And then he got really horrible. But that's an interesting one. There's another one with deaths by cheese.
What?
Yeah.
Is it next level cheese touch or something?
I can't remember. But no, we're reviewing stuff. I'll come back to that tomorrow if we finish review. But yeah, if you want to look at some very funny ones, they're called spurious correlations. And it's a website designed to making graphs that match up perfectly, but are idiotic. But if somebody told you what I just told you, oh, capsaicin makes you live longer, here's a graph. Does it automatically make it true? Of course not. Oh, snap is right. That's badass. There's lots of ways to do this question. Somebody give me a way you would start it. You would make the whole thing radical? Okay. That's what you would think? That's what you would do? Because as soon as you saw a fraction exponent, you want to go radicals, right? Okay. Anybody else? Nobody else has anything? What's that? 75 divided by 3, what is that? 25. What's that? 3 minus 5, right? Which is x to the positive 8, yeah? What's that? 1 minus 3, which is y to the negative 2, yeah? Is that a lot easier to deal with than that? I think so. Then all that is to the 3 halves. Now, radical it. With half as a denominator, what am I doing? That's square root, right? What's the square root of 25? 5 to what power? 3, right? What do I do with 8 and 3 halves? What do I do over brackets? Doesn't matter that it's a fraction. What do I do? Multiply. What's 8 times 3 halves? 24 halves over 2, which is 12. X to the 12th. What's this one? What happens to the 2 and the 2? Cancel. So that's y to the negative 3, yeah? Where do negatives have to go? What if they're already on the bottom? Where do they go? Up, right. Y3. And what's 5 cubed? 125. Are we good with exponents? Okay. There should be one more. There's a good one. Yep. Why? So the B goes down, right? Okay, what if it was this? So it would be 1 over A3B3, right? Everybody cool? What if it was negative AB to the negative 3? Then it would be B. Why? I thought negatives weren't allowed. Negative exponents are not allowed. Negative bases are. Okay. So people seem fairly decent with exponents. Caitlin wanted a radical. Radical! Let's find a radical. 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 No radicals. Graphing. Graphing. Functions. Parameter. Trig. Graphing. Graphing. Domain and range. Functions. Domain and range. Recognizing a function. Wow, no radicals. That's weird. While I'm looking for a radical, is there anything else that pops into your people's heads? We've just done a whole bunch of functions and graphing. Are we okay with all that?
What about the one where it's like square root of something and then you find the fact that you pull up the amount of how much the...
That's radical. That's radicals. That's what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find a radical question. If not, I'll just make one up. How about that? Can you do these? anymore. So I need to have them on a number line. Why?
Because the F is in the negative,
F is in the negative. F has to be negative, so it has to be A or B.
and then the 4, the 6 square root of 2 is way bigger than the square root of 2.
Yeah, of course it has to be bigger than the square root of 2, right? Cool? No, I don't think that I will.
Are you gonna formula?
Yes. What? Expansion or factoring? For example, that one. What is the answer? Almost everyone in this room is going to say it's A or B. But it is what? C. It is C. Because what's that? X minus 4 times X minus 4. Negative 4 minus 4 is negative 8. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16.
Is this thing that we also had a problem with, like, with this?
Those?
Things, are you gonna put them?
I hate those. They can piss off. Don't worry about them. This one? This would be a good one. So you need to calculate this area. Right? So if you were doing it, you would be making up your own steps, yeah? But you're not. You've got to mark this guy, this chump. So he says the area is 2x by 3, 2x plus 3 times x by 2. So he's saying what? It is that by that. And that is going to give you this whole area, isn't it? Right? So he's done that right there. Everyone agree? And then he has subtracted this, yeah? Because that's not part of it. Minus 2 times x minus plus 3. Are we happy with this first step? That might not be the way you would do it, but you got to understand that it is okay. Of course, that's the way I would do it, and that's the way I showed you guys. But a lot of you might have cut it off right there and done that. That's fine. Everyone cool with that? So then we do the math. FOIL, 2x squared, right. 4x plus 3x. Oh, right, he's written it out. Oh, smart guy. 3 times 2. Yeah, okay. He's all right there. Minus 2x plus 3. Are we still okay? Yeah. Down here, combine like terms. 4 plus 3, is it 7? We're still okay. Minus 2 times x minus 2x. What's that? There's the mistake. It should be minus 6. Now, the question becomes, it is X block right now, the question becomes, do we do this again tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, now remember, I asked you guys to show up with some questions, right? So go through your notes tonight. Find me something that you don't remember how to do, so I don't waste time skimming through here trying to find you something, okay? If you're staying for X block, go take a drink, go to the bathroom, do what you need to do, and then get back here.